Students, now let us look at the example for fleet assignment model that will clarify the concept and the nature of the problem which we discussed earlier. We have a company that has two 8-ton trucks and two 9.5-ton trucks. So there are two different type of trucks available with the company. There are 4 trips that need to be made in a day. The cost of assigning trucks to trips are as follows. So we have a table where the truck weights are given and the trip are also included, the cost of that trip. So truck 1, 8 ton, truck 2 would be 8 ton, truck 3 would be of 9.5 ton, and truck 4 would be 9.5 tons. And trip 1, 2, 3, 4 costs are there in the table. We need to determine the assignment of trucks to trips that will minimize the overall cost. We will follow different steps. The step 1 would be to find the minimum cost cell for each row. And we need to construct a new cost matrix with the new cell cost equal to the cell cost minus the minimum cost for that row. आपने क्या करना है? आपने minimum cost find करनी है for each row. And on that basis, you will construct a new cost matrix that how can you get the values of those matrices would be the cost of that cell minus the minimum cost for the row. Now for the new matrix, find the minimum cost for each column. After doing it for the rows, you need to go for the minimum column value. तो हर कॉलम में आपने फिर मिनिमम कॉस्ट को देखना है. And then construct a new matrix with the new cell cost equals to the cell cost minus the minimum cost for that column. What does it mean? It means for first row, you have a minimum cost of 5, which is for trip 2 for truck 1. So 5 minus 5, it will become 0. And 14 minus 5, it will become 9. And 8 minus 5, it will become 3. And 7 minus 5, it will become 2. So we have the first part of the table given here. And you can repeat the procedure for truck 2, 3, and 4. After getting the new cost matrix, after subtracting this is the row minimum matrix, find the column minimum matrix as well. So in the first column, it will remain like it. Why? Because in this column, the minimum value is 0. So if it is 0, so 9 minus 0, 0. 9 will remain. 0 minus 0, 0. 4 minus 0, 0. So it will be the same. Same is the case with the second one. Same is the case with the third column because there is a 0 entry into it. So this would be the column minimum. And the subtraction would make no difference to the column. Now in the last column, that is the fourth column, there is no 0 entry. The minimum entry is actually 2. So subtract 2 from the column values. So you will get 0, 1, 4, and 6. So you have a new cost matrix after having a row minimum and column minimum values. Now there is step 2. Draw the least number of lines, horizontal or vertical, to cover all the zeros in the matrix. आपने कम से कम लाइंस का इस्तेमाल करना है. लाइन हॉरिजॉन्टल भी हो सकती है, लाइन वर्टिकल भी हो सकती है. If the number of lines equal to the number of rows or columns, in our case, how many columns we have? We have 4 columns and 4 rows. So if the number of lines, जो lines आपने draw की हैं, वो equal हो जाती हैं to the number of rows or columns, stop and obtain the optimal assignment for the matrix by picking the cells with 0 cost. Otherwise, go to step 3. This step is shown above for the second cost matrix above and obtained after subtracting the column minimum. You have to repeat it for the column minimum. From this matrix, it can be seen that the number of lines 3 is less than the number of rows or number of columns. हमने जो अभी रो और कॉलम मिनिमम फाइंड किया, कॉलम मिनिमम की बात करें, तो वहाँ पर आप मिनिमम 3 लाइन्स के साथ you can actually cover all the zeros, which is less than the number of rows or columns, which is 4 here. Number of rows are 4, number of columns are 4. Had it been we had either of them equal to 3, so we would have stopped either of them. But now we have to go to step 3. What is step 3? Find the smallest known zero value not covered by the lines and subtract and call it A. Subtract this A value from each element uncovered by the lines and add A to the each element covered by 2 lines. तो आपने क्या करना है, जितने भी आपने जो पहले लाइंस ड्रॉ की हैं, you can verify that for the row column minimum table, the new matrix, we can cover it with 3 lines. So whichever elements are not covered, find A from them. A would be the smallest non-zero value, which is not covered by the lines. So now what you would do, for the uncovered elements, uncovered numbers which are not covered by the lines, subtract that A from them and add A to each element which is actually covered by the lines, any 2 lines. Return to step 2. For example, in this example, if you cover it, if you draw 3 lines which will cover all the zeros, the uncovered non-smallest element, the smallest element which is non-zero would be 1. You can verify it. And you will add 1 to the covered elements and subtract 1 from the uncovered elements. You will get this table after performing step 3. Now, again repeat step 2. You have to cover all the zeros with horizontal and vertical lines, and it should be equal to rows or the columns. Now, if you perform the activity again, you will see that you actually require 4 lines to cover all the zeros. Hence, we stop and make the assignment based on zero cost cells. The optimal assignment is that truck 1 would be for trip 2, truck 2 for trip 4. Why truck 1 is for trip 2? Because the smallest value is 0 there. So we have to base it on the zero cost cells. So the truck 1 है, पूरी रो को देखें ट्रक 1 के सामने, उसमें 0 एंट्री आपके पास 2 ट्रिप पे मौजूद है, सेकंड ट्रिप पर, 4th पे भी है, आप 4th पे भी असाइनमेंट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन 2 पे भी की जा सकती है, इट्स आर्बिट्रेरी. देन ट्रक 2 will go for trip 4. It could either be assigned to trip 1 or either to trip 4. Then truck 3 will go to trip 3. And of course, truck 4 will go to trip 1. In other words, type 1 trucks are assigned to trip 2 and 4. जो type 1 trucks थे, what were those? Those were 8-ton trucks. Whereas type 2 trucks will be assigned to trips 1 and 3. Students, you would now know how to implement the assignment problem. So you just keep it in mind that you have to follow the procedure of row minimum, column minimum, and then of course drawing the horizontal and vertical lines to cover the zero. And if it is not balanced with your row or column, you will repeat a step that would be to get A and the procedure for it, and then you will get the assignment of the different type of vehicles for different trips. Thank you.